Nicholas, Trials Manager at Walter's Gardens. Today I'm here to talk to you about our different Heuchera that we have. We have two different series of Heuchera. Both are in the Primo Winners lineup of perennials. The first one here behind me is the Dolce series. So the Dolce series is a little bit more intermediate sized Heuchera, not quite as large as the Primos. Still large leaves, but not as huge as the Primos either. So both in the containers and then in the landscape or garden afterwards, this one stays in that more intermediate size category. So we have 6 different colors in this series. The first one here is Silver Gumdrop. This one is really a nice, very, very silvery variety. It stays very silvery. That silver color will burn off in sun, so this is definitely one that likes to be in more shade. Next we have Apple Twist. Apple Twist is one of our chartreuse or green varieties. This one has very nice, ruffly, kind of very dense habit to it. It also, under cooler temperatures in the spring and fall, it gets this central veining characteristics to the leaves, so the nice kind of burgundy or russet color. It will get even more dramatic than this when it's at kind of its full potential. I liken it to the annual bullseye geranium leaves. It looks very, very striking. And then during the summer, this actually just turns very much chartreuse, and you don't see that anymore. This is also a good chartreuse in terms of it's not as likely to burn as others. I still would not put this in like afternoon or full sun, but it can definitely take a little bit more sun than a lot of your green or chartreuse varieties can. Next we have Cherry Truffles. So Cherry Truffles is a variety that actually replaces an older variety called Cinnamon Curls. This one has a lot more vigor to it. It's still in that intermediate size category, but it just has more vigor to it than Cinnamon Curls did, and also is longer lived in the landscape. Nice ruffly foliage on it. Very, very nice. You can see the differences here. This is a young plant, just planted this fall from a liner, and this is an older plant that's been in the cold. We actually pulled it over here to a warmer location just to shoot the video. But you can really see the color differences. When it's young and fresh leaves, it's very, very kind of light coppery color, and then it does darken up. But when this plant is outside and you get sun shining through the leaves, is I think when you really see its full potential. You can kind of get that reddish underneath to the foliage that just kind of glows. And this is one with the darker foliage that will tolerate more sun. Next we have Appletini. Appletini is another chartreuse, but this one has a lot more silver veining to it than the Apple Twist did, and that silver veining really stays on this variety throughout the season. You don't see as much of a change, you don't lose that veining. And then this one is cool because it has nice red flowers. Behind it is Spearmint. So Spearmint is a new one that we just came out with this year. It has more of a minty green foliage with a lot of silver, and this one is a very floriferous Heuchera. Right now it's out of flower. It's actually been sitting in the cold, vernalizing, so that next spring we'll have lots of flowers, but nice kind of hot pink flowers and tons of them. And then last but not least in the Dolce series is Wildberry. This is another brand new one for this year. So this is an older plant. This is more of its true color of what you will see out in the landscape. This one right here is a young plant that's actually been growing in probably warmer than ideal conditions, and you can see how it's faded out. But when this plant is in cooler temperatures, more ideal production conditions, you'll get that coloration to it. And Wildberry is actually a replacement for Blackberry Ice. Next behind me we have our other series, the Primo series. So Primos are your really big, beefy Heuchera, large presence in a container, large presence in the landscape, and then they do get very large leaves too. Especially, there's a variety here called Mahogany Monster, and even, I've seen leaves even bigger than this, but you can see on here, these leaves are as big as my hand, and they'll get up to about 6 inches in diameter at full maturity. So in this series we have Peachberry Ice. Peachberry Ice is a new variety for this year. Really, really striking coloration. This is the young version, so when the leaves are fresh, either in the spring when they're first emerging or in a young plant like this, they're very, very orangey apricot, and then you get some of this nice silver veining that comes on. Through the summer, the coloration kind of dies down a little bit, and then this is really the winter coloration that you see, where it's kind of a lot of greens and peaches and silver mixed in, and then the undersides of the leaves are always this nice kind of rosy red color. And this one has white flowers, which A lot of times you don't necessarily want white flowers on a heuchera, but on this one, I think when it's at its nice orange, bright color, when you're getting flowers on this one, the white really pops very dramatically against the orange. Back here we have Pretty Pistachio. So Pretty Pistachio is another chartreuse, but this one is in the Primo series, so it will be larger. It's also more of a solid chartreuse. It doesn't have as much veining as the 3 chartreuses that are in the Dolce series. And this one will have pink flowers. In the middle here we have Wild Rose. So Wild Rose, a lot of people think at first glance that this looks similar to Wildberry, but they're actually quite different. This one is in the Primo series, so larger plant, larger leaves. It's also more of a rosy color with the dark, very dark charcoal veining, whereas Wildberry is really more of a purple. If you put them side by side, you can really see a good difference on them. Next here we have the Mahogany Monster that I referred to earlier. So this is really our biggest heuchera yet. This one, and actually I'll break this off because it won't be ready when I need it anyways. This doesn't even do it justice. When they're really coming on, the diameter of the flower stem is probably about twice this diameter, so almost the size of my pinky. Very, very large plant. It also actually has quite good rebloom. I noticed throughout the season that the Mahogany Monster continues to put up flowers. And then of course the very large leaves. This is the kind of the fall-winter coloration right here, much darker mahogany color. And then this is the fresh color, so this is a young plant. You can see how big those leaves are and more of a coppery tone to them. And then last but not least is Black Pearl. Black Pearl was the 2018 Primo Winners Perennial of the Year. Very, very nice, dark, glossy black foliage, nice ruffle to it. You can see between a young plant and an old plant, they look pretty similar. So this is the young plant, maybe not quite as dark. They do tend to darken up a bit with age. This is another plant, as with the other darker leaved heucheras, that really will take more sun. These you can actually site out in full sun, and they will do just fine. Thank you for watching. I hope you can pick your favorite heuchera after that. They all have their different nuances and colorations, but they're all very cool in their own right. So for more information, check out our website.